Good afternoon. My name is Guillermo Morero, and today I'll be talking about land ethics. So I'd like to start my presentation with talking about Aldo Lipoy, the author of the book and article about that wrote about land ethics. So the way Aldo Lipoy defined land ethics is by nature and human relationships are intertwined. So essentially saying that nature and humans have a relationship that is correspondent, that both of them have a relationship with each other. Achieve an ecological ethic by becoming more sociable. Essentially, going out with nature, going out in general, leads to having a better relationship. Third point: people must be a part of nature, and not stand on top of it. So the relationship we have right now is an example of what not to do, essentially. So we as people like to think ourselves as something above nature, something supreme, the supreme species of everything. We do as we please. By the end of the day, we need nature to survive. It is impossible for us to survive without nature. So we need to be a part of it and not stand on top of it. Even if we start doing that, our we can start benefiting far more than we do now. As lastly, allow for natural ethic existence. So essentially, just let nature live. Don't try to destroy everything just so we can benefit off of it. Because once you start destroying everything, there'll be nothing left, and the only ones who be the ones who least benefit from that would be us humans. So I'll second my second slide is be talking about my definition, how I define land ethics. So the way I define it is to care for the natural world and to live within the world of nature. So what I'm trying to say is that based off what I was reading off of land ethics, is that you need to be able to take care of the natural world. Without it, how are we supposed to exist? And to live within it is to care for it. Animals live within nature. They don't do it consciously, but they do subconsciously take care of the nature around them because they live within it, they depend on it, and they just know how important it is to their lives. My reasons: nature surrounds us. It's everywhere. It's unavoidable. Even if you live in the city, there's gonna be some nature. With if it's that park or just that alley where you have some plants growing there, that's nature. At the end of the day, we are made from nature. We are animals at the end of the day. So we come from nature. We are born from nature, and everything we need, breathe, and eat, drink, all of that comes from nature. Nature inspires us. It has been known that nature is probably the best engineer to ever exist. We we reference nature when we try to design new technology, such as like cable. The cables, how they're fibers and all that, that resembles a lot of muscle fibers, of how muscle fibers are built. So we take those ideas, even if we didn't know, it was probably already created by nature before we think we even invented it or something. Third point, nature. Oh wait, fourth point, nature is unescapable. It's everywhere. Like we need it. So how can we just escape from it? We want to think that we are seclusive from nature, that we don't depend on it, that our cities are all human made, but at the end of the day, nature's gonna be there. We're gonna need it whether you want it or not. Surrounding nature. It's around the corner. Trees and parks. Everything around us is nature. At one point, these buildings come from nature. We depend on the minerals and material from the earth to provide us with these buildings that we have discovered. All we did was mix and match them in order to create what we live in today. We are nature. We are made up of nature. We eat and drink from nature. We breathe nature. Plants, algae, bacteria, all of those create, not bacteria, they create oxygen for us to breathe. Let's say we get rid of all that. Now we have no oxygen for us to breathe. Now we're all dead. We can't breathe. We have no oxygen. There's no technology to create oxygen for us. There's no artificial oxygen. It's all coming from plants and arthrotrophs. We eat and drink from nature. Our food comes from nature. Even agriculture is still considered nature. Plants, the cattle, the goats, the sheep, the pigs, chickens, all them, even though we have colonized them, we have made them to our own, bred them, changed them, even genetically modified them. They still are from nature, regardless. And we are made up of nature. We are made up of 70% of water. Our organs, all that comes from nature. It's all natural existence within us. Inspiration. Technology can be deprived from studying nature. The closer to nature we can build, the more efficient it can be. So when we try to build technology that goes against nature, such as dams is a good example. We try to make dams in order to convert energy, but at the end of the day, we're doing is putting a big wall that stops a lake from moving into a river. And then what happens eventually? Those lakes get filled up with sediment because the all that sediment stays in that lake and just settles down and starts to go to the bottom of the lake. And then all the sediment to water ratio becomes higher towards sediment. So now we're having lakes that are being filled up because we're building dams there. And then now some of those dams become useless since they're being filled up with sediment and all the processes is getting also being filled with sediment. So if we just start to align our technology with nature, we start seeing far more efficient results as compared to what we see today. Inescapable. We need nature for survival. Without it, we will cease to exist. As I said before, it's inescapable. We need it. We can't just push it aside and say we don't need it like if it's some kind of toy. No, we depend on it. We need it. We need to survive. If not, we would just cease to exist as a species alone. So it's better if we just start to accept who we are, accept nature, and just start working together with nature so that we can start improving our way of life and then just be overall far more efficient.